the really cool thing about adventuring is we came here with no plan, nothing. Didn't know where we were staying or anything. And we get here, we drove through 5 hours of blinding snowstorm, and we were rewarded by Quebec City's Old Town. It's just amazing. It's huge and it's hot.
Oh, it smells so good. I love these.
It reminds me of old part of Puerto Rico, and it's just beautiful. Okay, so we're going down to, these apartments are amazing right here.
Escaping Buffalo's winter sometimes means driving straight into the middle of it. And that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, what could be more fun? Driving for an entire day on white-knuckle, slippery, frozen roads.
Anyway, got a good spot, underground.
And it's always fun to arrive at night at a place that you've never been before. The temperature is 2 degrees Fahrenheit, and
Figure out where I am.
it's hilly.
It's the right thing to do. But anyway, I'll be along a little bit. Okay.
Now all I had to do was walk up that hill.
All right. So I just gotta go up here. I guess what they don't bother to tell you, or maybe they do, is it's a very hilly city as well. But it's cool. I'm digging it. And I hope I'm walking up the right road. Oh my gosh, there's a beautiful old church. And where's my hotel? Oh, I found it. Huh. I figured it out. Okay. From here down to that road. So over here are all the old barracks. These are the old fortress barracks. All right, I've had enough of this 0 degree stuff. We're in Old Town, Quebec City, and now I just gotta figure out how to go check into my hotel. I got an outside code here first.
It seems like a lot of these hotels or Airbnbs nowadays have all security codes and no staff. None. You walk in and there's nobody there. It's kind of weird. I mean, you're used to having somebody at the front desk to answer basic questions like, where do I park, or all that. But I don't know. I figured it out.
200 level is over here. 300 level is over there.
So I climbed the stairs up to my room on the 200 level, finished bringing in all my stuff, and hit the sack. Keep in mind that it's so beautiful here.
So I'm sitting here standing actually in downtown, Old Town, Quebec City. And we came here with no planning at all. Drove through a snowstorm that was 5 hours. Actually, 8 hours of snowstorm. And now we found Old Town. One cool thing about it is it's not terribly expensive. And it's very walkable, kind of hilly. And certainly extra super duper cold. No wind. And very pleasant though. It's very much like Europe. It reminds me of Prague.
I think the best thing about Old Town, or old towns in general, is everything's walkable. Everything's beautiful. And in French. And these places offer amazing views like people would have had hundreds of years ago. And here, in the cold, in the middle of winter, the view is epic God, it's just wonderful.
So we just kind of randomly wandered around in front of the Fairmont Chateau, which is this massive building. It's pretty cool. So not far from here is this big old toboggan run. And supposedly, certain times a year, you can get boat rides. I don't know if the boat ride works.
Well, I found out that perhaps they do. And now all I need to do is figure out how to catch the boat. Oh, and this is the toboggan run. Pretty huge. And no, I had no interest in riding it. "15 years ago, I stayed at the twin to this building, the Fairmont Chateau in Whistler, British Columbia. These places are, to say the least, 5-star, epic. Wow. Apparently, this building is the most photographed thing in all of Quebec, and I can see why. So I really wanted to go for a boat ride across the ice-choked river or Gulf of St. Lawrence, but I'm not so sure if Jen wants to go. Instead of heading to warmer climes, we drove straight to the Great White North. Some call it Canada. More specifically, we're in a place that was once called the village of Stadacona, and it is the second oldest city in North America. San Juan, Puerto Rico is the oldest, and you can see my video about that place on my channel. But now, people call this the city of Quebec, or Quebec City. Not far from our Airbnb is an unassuming little cafe, a place that serves what seems to an outsider to be little tiny flat pancakes, called crêpes. But to French Canadians, crêpes are more than just thin pancakes. They're a taste of home, a rustic yet refined relic of the old country, adapted to Quebec's rugged winters. And, unlike their Parisian cousins, Quebec-style crêpes are, well, heartier. And in the case of today, we also found giant lattes.
This is a giant chocolate. It's like a giant bowl of coffee. It's huge. Oh, they can go sit upstairs. Oh, that is very good. So they make a latte that is big enough for us Americans because we like industrial quantities. This is so cute. And it's good. It's so fresh. Oh. Wow. Look at that. So this is Emmentaler type of Swiss crepe on a crepe. And they give you an extra crepe on the side. In other words, crepes. This is the stuff. Oh, it smells so good. I love these. Okay, I'm happy. And they got little French fries. Square ones. Mm. This is large. A lot of food. And the crepes.
Oh, this thing's loaded.
Oh, this is insanely good.
Much better than the other place.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Mm. Amazing. Crepes. The other thing is the toast here is huge. It's wonderful. the omelets are really large and heavy, like all the food here is hearty because it's 0 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I don't know if I can finish this. Try.
I know from living in a snowy city like Buffalo that there is no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothes. So today, a sunny day is number one, regardless of temperature. There is no wind, another plus. And it's only about a 10-minute walk from our crepe place to this funicular, which gets us down to the lower level at the base of these massive cliffs.
Yeah.
Better than the other one we went on.
It's like the one in Pittsburgh.
And for a small amount of money, you get to ride on it instead of having to walk down an enormous amount of stairs. It's really quite beautiful.
My fingers are so numb. There we go. Okay. So we're going down to, these apartments are amazing right here.
When you step off this rail thing, you're let out onto the ground level, down at river level.
It's just to placate me.
All right, move over.
Okay.
Before we get to some Quebecois food and wanderings, here's a little backstory on the only walled city north of Mexico. Unfortunately, Old Quebec City has very dark origins. When Frenchman Jacques Cartier made first contact with the First Nations people in 1535, he found the St. Lawrence village of Stadacona. And it didn't take long for Cartier to put his worst foot forward by kidnapping the tribal chief, Donnacona, and a few others, and forcibly took them back to France as proof to the king that there was great wealth to be had here. Sadly, all the captives died, probably of disease. To make matters worse, when Cartier returned to Stadacona on his third voyage in 1541, he lied to the people there, claiming that Donnacona had chosen to remain in France, living as a wealthy nobleman. Yikes. When I looked it up on the internet, it says Cartier was the first European to set foot in North America, but this is untrue. In fact, it was the Vikings, led by Leif Erikson, who arrived in Newfoundland more than 500 years before. But Cartier was the person who named Canada, using the Huron-Iroquois word Canada, which means settlement or village. Now, back to food and adventure.
This is pretty crazy. We randomly took the funicular down and wound up in the lower level of Old Town unexpectedly. Very, very cool. It reminds me of old part of Puerto Rico. And it's just beautiful. And then there's this guy doing the roof.
Maybe in Quebec City they need to do this to keep the roof ice from falling on people. But back in Buffalo, we have to do it to keep the weight of the snow and ice off of our roofs. Walking these streets is quaint and romantic. It's like something out of a picture postcard. Or Harry Potter.
Then we got translation things. I don't know how you pronounce fuck la mode, but it's probably something a little softer than that. Oh yeah, there's another one. Fuck la mode. Yeah, but how do you pronounce it? Fook.
And I decided before getting some lunch, we would go for a boat ride out on the icy St. Lawrence. Seeing all this ice in big chunks is a little bit nerve-wracking, but I felt that was pretty cool. It was right around this time while we were riding across the St. Lawrence that a cargo ship was stranded in the ice just off the shores of my hometown of Buffalo, New York. And to make matters funnier, I did not know that just underneath my feet was a shipload of automobiles. This was a car ferry.
I'm here on the St. Lawrence, and we're just crossing to the other side. Obviously, there's the giant Chateau Fairmont, and now we're headed over to do some adventures on this side of the St. Lawrence. The ice out here is amazing. This is a beautiful sunny day. We're pretty lucky to have this. Wow, pretty cool. Wow, this is crazy.
And as we pulled out to return to the main shore, I noticed ice skaters on this sort of track that was in a park. A pretty cool outdoor activity, really. Maybe we should try this in Buffalo. And now it's time for some lunch.
So we're on our way back across from the other side of the St. Lawrence, headed back to Québec City, and the sound of the ice is incredible. It reminds me of being on an icebreaker.
The great thing about this area is it's all very walkable. Everything's close and cozy and built for pedestrians, not cars. And currently, hiking this set of stairs,
Going up.
we're on the hunt for lunch.
So we just finished the ferry boat ride, and now we're going to find some pork. Yeah. Here it is. Oh, you're right. Yeah. So the question is, how do we get in?
For me, this is kind of weird and funny. I come from a flat place, and this place is literally built into the side of a hill. And sitting down, I wasted no time to order something hot to drink.
This is an enormous bowl of latte. I mean, it's huge and it's hot. I don't know how I'm supposed to drink this. Like this? Oh, my goodness. It is so wonderful. The reason I love it is because it is so warm, and we have been out in the cold crossing the river on the ferry boat. All right, so there's some really great choices here. We've got pea soup, pork belly, beet tartare, not beef, I think. Yeah, and the soup of the day is mushroom. So, like, I really think I'm gonna go with simple thing, the beef burger. Even though I love pork belly, we did the poutine yesterday, which is pretty intense. And anything with fromage, which is cheese, is great too. But in the meantime, it is the giant coffee that I just am so happy about. Land of the giant latte. So another super hearty thing that we got going on here is their cream and mushroom soup. Off the hook. Like the giant bowl of latte, this is
This is the way mushroom soup should be made.
It tastes almost like it's made with grits too.
Oh, it's got such a great
Like
texture.
it's thick.
Unbelievable. Actually, for me, when I was younger, there used to be this place called the Greenfield Street Restaurant in Buffalo. It was a hippie place, but they had the best mushroom soup. And quite frankly, this tastes just like it. Wow. On a really cold day, the temperature on this is nice and hot, and the bowl is nice and hot. Now we got our hamburger here. And personally, I take the little stick out of it. Take a bite. See how this puppy goes. Well, the bread is very good. But one of the things apparently they do here is they cook the ever-living you-know-what out of these hamburgers. Kind of loses the flavor in my book. But the freshness of the bread. So the important thing here is French fries are a big thing up here, and so is the mayonnaise and French fries. And it's good. Not like you would expect. It doesn't taste like mayonnaise. Almost like a cream sauce, really. Yeah. And actually, the hamburger is good because you can actually taste the meat. Whereas a lot of hamburgers have no flavor. This one must be like a farm-raised thing or something. Ooh, sorry.
If you ever decide to visit Quebec City in winter, dress warm, wear good shoes, and at least try to speak a little French. It's a sign of respect, and it can go a long way. Thanks for watching.